What's up? It's Jen Brown. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got an update on my experience with eating low FODMAP foods. I can't even say it right the first time. And low FODMAP diet. If you have been here for a long time, and if you were here when I did this video, I want to say like 2 years ago now, please say hi in the comments because I would be really curious to know if anyone who watches my videos was actually watching them back then. But if you don't know what the low FODMAP diet is, I will do my best to explain it. I'm obviously not an expert or a nutritionist or a doctor or anything like that, but basically it's FODMAPs. It's like an acronym for, let's see if I can remember that. It's fructose, oligose, I think is how you say the one with the O. I want to say disaccharides, monosaccharides, and poly something. They'll be written out because I have like a fancy screen record of an app that I have that's really helpful that I will show you guys in a sec. But basically a couple of years ago I heard about this diet on a podcast and I wanted to try it out because I have like, this is kind of, I think, separate from my other chronic illness stuff. I have some like digestive issues that I've had for a long time, and I do have GERD, but it's like super intense acid reflux, if you are unfamiliar with that. But I started experiencing later, like after I'd been diagnosed with GERD and all of that, that whenever I would eat, no matter what I ate, sometimes like it didn't even matter the amount of food, I would just feel like really heavy in my stomach. Like everything I ate sat really heavy in my stomach and I would just feel like I had eaten a huge meal for hours. And so I didn't know what was up with that. So I heard about this diet and I did some research on it. The diet itself is basically to find out which of the FODMAPs are a problem for you. So it's not like a diet as in a losing weight kind of diet. It's like a, gluten-free diet or something like that. So I just, not a nutritionist, nothing like that. I just did my own research online and found out like which are the common foods for each of the FODMAPs, and then you're supposed to, I want to say for a month, if I remember right, you are supposed to try to eliminate those from your diet, which I did that. I'll put a link to the video. What I was not great about is when that period is over, you're supposed to introduce the different FODMAPs back in one at a time to kind of see which ones cause problems. So I wasn't great at that. I had figured out some things, but it wasn't until like a year or so later when I started trying to like really make a conscious effort to eat healthier in general that I kind of went back to that and really started to figure some things out. I'll say right now, it has been really helpful for me. I almost never have that feeling in my stomach when I eat, and if I do, it's usually when it's a food that I didn't know was going to cause problems for me. So the first thing I'll show you guys is this app that I found. I don't remember if I found it when I was Googling stuff, because I don't think I was looking for an app. It's super random. It's just this free app I found that's just called FODMAP, and I'll like show some stuff that it does here. This is not like a promotion or anything. I find it really helpful. So the feature I use the most is the lookup thing. So if I've eaten something and I'm like feeling kind of like full and bloated when I shouldn't be, I'll go and look that up and see, because I have learned that the oligose, the O, and that's the biggest problem for me. Sometimes the one that starts with a P, and fructose. So I try to avoid those. What's really cool about the lookup feature is like I also at this time was trying out like a gluten-free diet and that kind of stuff. I learned after I bought a huge bag of it that coconut flour is high, and so are dates. A lot of stuff that I really started liking to cook with are high FODMAPs for me. And so I have to really limit how much of that I use. And what's cool about the lookup feature is sometimes it'll tell you like, oh, this much of something makes it high or medium of that FODMAP category. But like if you use less than that, then it's still considered low. One thing that I have learned, if you are, I don't know why you would be following me for this, but if you are like me and trying to also figure out protein powders, I learned the hard way that whey protein is really bad for me FODMAP wise. It makes me just feel like blah if I have it. So I have to go for plant-based proteins. So I don't want this to be insanely long, hopefully it's not already, but another helpful tip that I have as far as like how to go about whether you're starting the diet or if you are trying to cook and make your own stuff, because that was kind of hard at first. Like a lot of condiments and stuff you buy from the store are high in fructose. You can find lists everywhere of like stuff that's low FODMAP or whatever. Obviously looking up low FODMAP recipes is a huge help. I will link some of my favorite ones down below, especially for like condiments and sauces and stuff. I have this like homemade low FODMAP ketchup recipe that I found that I love. I pretty much, I don't eat ketchup a lot, but if I'm going to, I make that homemade ketchup. Like I love it so much more than store-bought ketchup. But that can be a little bit difficult, and I find that it's a lot of the same. I started to get really repetitive with stuff. So the last thing I wanted to share was like a couple of my favorite cookbooks. If you like to cook, something that I've been learning about kind of in the process over the last year or so of learning to cook a lot more. I say year, it's been a blur, it's probably been 2 years, I don't know. But is about food substitutions. So one of, I guess I count them as one even though it's 2 cookbooks, but these Kristen Cavallari cookbooks are some of my favorites. I've made a ton of stuff from them. I still have a bunch of things saved. This one's newer to me, so I have a lot more things flagged that I haven't made yet. But these are the best that I found because they are gluten-free, dairy-free, and refined sugar-free. So all 3 of those in one, I think, is a super rare find for cookbooks. Now, I am not gluten-free and I am not dairy-free. I actually really enjoy a lot of those foods, and it's the same thing. I'm not vegan, but I really like a lot of vegan foods. And none of those things instantly make something healthy, but I find that searching for vegan recipes or gluten-free, dairy-free, refined sugar-free especially, that's a huge one. Just that kind of stuff tends to either be healthier or make it easy to substitute things that are healthier. So if I'm making something from this, if it says like gluten-free flour, sometimes I will, I might use regular flour. The refined sugar thing is a really big deal because, like I said, fructose is a problem for me. So using things that have natural sugars, but if this says to use dates, but I can't eat a lot of dates because that's a high FODMAP thing, well, I can supplement that with pure maple syrup, because pure maple syrup is low FODMAP. So you can kind of switch things out, and that's been really helpful. It's the same for if you want to make things vegan, because I think these are not. I think that's the one thing this isn't, is vegan. But learning that you can switch out eggs with a flax egg or applesauce, like just those kinds of like sort of easy switch outs that you can do to change up a recipe, that's been really helpful for me too. Well, those are my tips for if you're starting the low FODMAP diet, or if you're trying to continue it and kind of implement it back into your regular routine. I know this was a little bit different than my usual sort of video, but this is like, the health stuff is a really important part for me, and that's actually kind of why I started this channel, was to hopefully be able to like share and help people that are maybe in a similar health situation to me. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, feel free to subscribe. I post 2 to 3 times a month. Thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.